Hello and welcome to a new chapter, number 23 of Azure Support Academy. In this new episode number 7, we are going to talk about the idle connection state, what that means, what is the main cause about this problem, or how to fix this issue. My name is José Manuel Jurado. I am a escalation engineer working in Microsoft and subject matter expert in this technology. Well, idle connection state, we could have two main issues. One is when our connection is idle and TCP layer, where the connections can be dropped for any number of network devices. What that means, TCP layer, means that I open the connection, I am waiting to about the reply from the server, for a SQL server, what is called keep alive connection, and we didn't receive any reply. Other option is idle by Azure SQL Gateway. So after no activity, after 30 minutes, we are going to drop the connection. How to find this problem? Well, we have multiple error messages depending if the driver is ODBC, .NET, or JDBC, because the connection will be closed and we could have different messages about it. How to fix the problem? Well, you could review in this URL, connect on Azure to Azure SQL database. For example, one means about it. You could implement the retry logic, or you could use the redirection, review your code, or for example, change to TCP key alive's heuristic settings. Also, one other thing is that if you're using, for example, another connection puller like Hikari, you could review about these topics. Well, let's try to reproduce an idle connection state. So we are going to run two different applications. One application is made in or developed in C#. Another one will be in Java. Let's start with .NET. If we are using the same application, we are going to run this application again. But before starting with the demo, I would like to mention two things. It's about connection retry count and retry interval. So right now, these two parameters means if something happens automatically, A.NET will try to reconnect again, right? So it's very important because by default we have, I think that the default in connect retry count is 1, but right now for this demo I'm going to establish it 0. So I'm going to run again the application. I forgot one thing about the retry count or retry interval is this value is, for example, if something happened with the connectivity, automatically .NET will retry the connection without say anything, just only to reopen the connection in order to establish the connection without doing any other actions. So I'm going to run the application. As you could see, my application is running right now around 21 requests. I'm not going to connect, just only I establish the connection, and I'm going to run in a loop 21 times in order to check if the connection is established or not, the status of the connection. As you could see here, if I run right now the speed, if I run this, the speed is 61, as we have here, and I'm going to close the connection right now. So let's start with this. Right now I close the connection. As you could see here, what happened with the connectivity? When I try to verify something in this connection or try to do something, as you could see here is the error that we have, a transport level error, right? I need to apply my retry logic in order to implement the connection. So I'm going to stop the application again, but in this case, I'm going to change the settings about retry count, and I'm going to establish, for example, 1. That means that without say anything, if something happened with the connection is broken, etc., automatically Arduino.net will try the connection again. So let's start again with application. The application is running. We have the same. So right now is running in this part. So I'm going to, let's say, to simulate that something happened with idle connection of my application in order to close the connection. Give me 1 second. Okay, I got it. So I'm going to close the connection. As you can see, the connection is still .ARDONET thinks that is open, but I close the connection, forcing to close the port 1433. And as you can see here, automatically, without saying anything, the connection is established again. So my connection, let's say that Arduino.net tried to connect again. Okay, for the reason it's very important this type of situation when you have idle connections. Okay, other things that also it's very important is how at TCP level Ethernet knows that the connection is open or not. So I'm going to run again the application. As you can see here is the same. Okay, and I'm going to start Microsoft Network Monitor. Okay, this is Microsoft Network Monitor. As you can see here, right now I don't have any connectivity, just Solid SQL Server Management Studio. This is my application. As you can see here, I'm going to stop for a couple of seconds. Yeah. So this is the moment that this is a special thing that I will like. How we measure that the connection is still alive? Well, the connection is still alive when every 30 seconds by default, as you could see in the link that we show, it's retry the connection and say, okay, you are alive, you are alive, you are alive. This is that my PC is connecting to the server, say you are alive. The server say yes, I'm here. Okay, it's trying to do this in order to review what let's say the status of the connection. So if I close the connection right now, for example, give me 1 second. I'm going to close the connection. Yep. If I close the connection, as you can see here, I receive a reset. So that means that something happened because everything was closed, but automatically .NET, as I mentioned before, thanks to the retry count, is established the connection again without doing anything for my code. Okay? Well, in this case, I'm going to use Java. Basically, I'm going to use Hikari as a connection puller. As you could see here, I have several settings in terms of connectivity. For example, how much will be the validation timeout, the connections timeout, the lifetime of my connection, etc. It's very important because right now I instruct to Hikari how the connection will work and how much time it's important to check the connections alive or not, etc. So I'm going to do pretty much the same that I have in .NET. Basically, I'm going to try the connection and I'm going to stop the connection every 2 seconds. Or the application, I'm going to run a sleep command to wait for 1 second. No, it's not here, it's here. Yeah. I'm running right now this connection. As you can see here, I'm going to start. So the connection is established, so nothing is, so as you can see here, the connection is pretty much the same. I'm going, for example, right now, as I did in my in my .NET, I'm going to find what is the server that right now I have in Java, and I'm going to, for example, close the connection. As you can see here, I have my first error. My first error means that, for example, this error could be the connection is not available. Also, because right now I changed the firewall blocking the connections. So you could see several errors. So I'm going to run again, I'm going to establish again the connection. I have my retry logic is connected to the database until they receive the connection. So right now, I'm going to run to kill the session, for example, in order to simulate that we have the same problem in terms of idle connection. As you could see, we have other message. Other message, that means that, for example, right now it's mentioned that this connection ID has been marked as broken because error code, connection reset by peer, socket write error. So at the end, multiple things that we could have in order to establish the connection again. So for the reason, it's very important that my retry logic, my connectivity, etc., will be very well established when you are using Java, when you are using PHP, .NET, etc. Okay, thank you so much for attending these sessions. If you have any questions, please send an email to gmjurado@microsoft.com.